Mabrur Ventures Limited has hit the quarter century. A brand that is known for Hajj and Umrah operations, with its excellence and legacy-driven operations, is 25 years old. This is a very remarkable moment in the existence of this brand, and to reflect upon the legacy of service and growth and purpose and pilgrimage of this brand, will be having the insider perspectives to the establishment, operations, management of Hajj Mabrur Ventures Limited. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Faida Ayobami Oile. I will be moderating this session, and today, to get insider perspective of Hajj Mabrur Ventures Limited, I have with me two members of the first committee of created for establishment of Hajj Mabrur Ventures Limited in the year 2000. First, we have here the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Hajj Mabrur Ventures Limited, Alhaji Abdulhamid Sholate.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Next, we have the Dean of Management Sciences, University of Lagos, Professor Sulaiman Abdulhamid.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So Hajj Mabrur, as a tagline, is simply hospitable and truly spiritual. So from that perspective, how was the structure built? Like Hajj Mabrur itself. Thankfully, you are establishing members of the venture. So how was Hajj Mabrur Ventures Limited? How did it come about?
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Well, the slogan you have just mentioned is not the first. That was not where we started. Hajj Mabrur is a creation of deliberate efforts, deliberate intention about making changes in the system. What we were used to when we started, Hajj Mabrur is created, owned fully by the Muslim Congress. So those days we are set out to have impact within the Muslim community. So we decided that we are not going to be part of those who are going to engage in talk show, complaining, but rather do practically to effect some changes. So people go for Hajj, they will be abandoned, nobody take care of them. You don't have enough guidance as to the way they do it. So when they come back, they don't even know what they are expected to do. So that was what brought about the establishment of Hajj. Okay, let's go into the field. Let's also try and do something and effect the change directly so that people can see the right orientation as to how it is. So that was what brought about the establishment of Hajj Mabrur. And that was the essence for the name that we have chosen. Because at that time, people were looking at what name are we going to give to the brand. And eventually, it came. We don't need to go further. We just went to the hadith of the Prophet that told us about Hajj, that Al-Hajj Mabrur, laysa lahu jaza illa al-jannah. That a right Hajj that is done rightly has no other reward except Hajj. So that is our intention. That was the goal. The goal was for you to do the Hajj. So we decided to use Hajj Mabrur as the name, so that to continue to remind us of the essence and the purpose for which the company had been established.
Mashallah. Interestingly, about like 22 years ago precisely, I learned of Hajj Mabrur. But I did not know that like it was a place. I did not know that it had a system that operated. I just knew that whenever I have my Hajj dream, I want to go through Hajj Mabrur. I just knew it as an agency because it was what was always said. And so far, I've seen that Hajj Mabrur has not just existed as a name. It has existed as like a legacy that has been built over time, that has been able to evolve and like keep to pace. For me to remember it from 22 years ago, and like it's clocking 25 now. So you mentioned while you were speaking that it's pilgrimage with purpose. Professor, what does pilgrimage with purpose itself even mean?
Well, alhamdulillah, I mean, traveling generally is believed to be one of what people will call tourism. And as at the time, we also came up with the idea of Hajj Mabrur Ventures Limited. Quite a number of people who go for Hajj really go there, you know, so to say, for tourism. They had good intentions, but people take them there in terms of the experience, in terms of the essence for which Allah mandated Muslims to go for Hajj. We see it lacking. So at the end of the day, we decided that just like the MD, the current MD mentioned, it is simply spirituality, not just go there, do whatever. There are rules of engagement. And the founders of Hajj Mabrur Ventures felt that, look, if there are rules of engagement, then it's important that we make people who spend so much, people, their lifetime, they spend the whole of their lifetime savings, lifetime savings, to want to go for Hajj. So at the end of the day, they go and come back, no reward. That was what, really came to the mind of the founders of Hajj. So the whole essence is that people should go for spiritual upliftment. And that was what brought us, to that stage there.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah. So for 25 years in existence, I believe strongly that this Hajj Mabrur Ventures Limited is not just a business anymore. It's now like a brand. So what exactly has been the journey so far? Now I mean the challenges, the lessons, the process, the structure, the everything. What has been the journey so far in 25 years?
See, talking about challenges, nobody will succeed. We came out without facing our challenges. Fathers and mothers, even in the process of making that, they had big sweat. And to the extent that even when delivering the baby too, you see a lot of challenges, in that line. The same thing for our, operation. A lot of challenges, weaknesses in regulatory activities. Then you see many people going, carrying people for Hajj, but without even the experience. They just throw them there and they ask them to face whatever challenge they face there. Issue of finance too, taking money from Nigeria to the other hand is not an easy thing to just say you want to gather some naira into dollars and you take it there. There are challenges of even getting funds, into hard currency that could be spent, at that end. So there is that challenge. Another major challenge, which I'm sure we may probably also highlight further, is getting visas. It's not an easy thing to get a visa. Sometimes visas get delayed. And even when the visas are now gotten, another major challenge will be the airline. Which airline are you using? You have an engagement with some airlines, and you could be surprised that on the day you are supposed to be airlifted, you won't find them there. These are some of the teething, challenges that we faced. And if we also say we want to take people there to do the real thing too, what about the human resources too that you want to use, to do this particular activity? And because some of those challenges there, that even some of the people we have in mind to go and put people through might not even get the visa at the end of the day. Or you have issues with their tickets, to move there. So these are basic challenges. So at the end of the day, the few that probably now got the visas and the tickets, they have issues, to battle with at the other hand. I can also recall that the category of people going for Hajj then too, we have some elites, people who are relatively, well to do, who, because it's an art thing, so to say now, feeling that Hajj Mabrur, you are the people there to take us there, so they are ready to even ask you to carry their bags, carry and things like that. And there are manners with which you have to also relate, with them, because one of the things you are doing, you have mentioned spirituality there and hospitality. You mentioned hospitality. So if you are to do that, how do you manage that in a manner that it won't, backfire on the organization? These are some of the challenges which time may not permit to expatiate.
Okay.
But I know if you have the opportunity, there are lots to say in that regard.
Okay, mashallah. I realized that from things that you said, I realized that systems, basically the basic problems were around systems that existed, and particularly for when you do not have control over other people's structures, and also like maybe people management. However, MD, what is something you can significantly point at as the milestone of Hajj Mabrur Ventures Limited in 25 years?
Well, like I said, we had a lot of challenges naturally when going on, because since the whole environment then, Hajj environment, the regulation, everything were moving around. Because I remembered Hajj started under like a department under the Foreign Affairs.
Yes.
So later on, after a lot of effort, Hajj Commission came about. I was saying, okay, let us start a commission that you solely for Hajj. It's not just going to be a department. So transitioning from that was there. But what we did that were different was that at different epoch, we look at what we faced. At our initial stage, what we were battling with was the idea of actually moving people and getting there before, at the right time. And that's why when we started, the first slogan one after was no camping,
no delay.
So because
No
people
camping,
come, you'll
no
be at the
delay.
Hajj camp, you'll be in the airport for days without going. So it was an epoch. How do we ensure that we get the right system, the right airline, well cleared, that we can move people? When you say you are going on the 3rd, you travel on the 3rd. If I say you are coming back on the 5th, you are back on the 5th. So for years, that was which was the first thing that we did.
Mashallah.
Creating those things environment. So it was unique at that time, and that's why the slogan was there: no camping, no delay. So you are sure that you are not going to be camped and you are not going to be delayed at the airport. Then we had to move through the stage of, okay, when we get there, especially the place where you have the real eye, which is Mina, how do you ensure people get the right thing? So that's the issue of having scholars and having daily lectures at that point in time. It was very rare. Hardly do you see people bringing anybody, any scholar that is just dumb there. So Hajj Mabrur pioneered that one that would need. So we have our scholars there. And that's why at that point in time, you see so many people in our tents will always be filled. Because people come from other people just to benefit from that. So that was one thing. So we're able to give that enlightenment right from here till we're able to get everybody around. Then, since that one have moved, we now moved. Okay, now, because at that time, you are not, this hospitality was not even actually the main cause. Because the main thing was, like we always say it in Yoruba, they will say, Ishe Ashekwe, doing your job rightly, forget about all other things. So later on, we decided to now break down all the operations to different sets. Okay, let's see. Use like a modular thing. This one, this, and this. And that's why they said, okay, let us now bring in hospitality. We have been able to take people to spiritualism. We have been able to master that. People have been able to benefit from that. But it doesn't mean that they have to come to Hajj and suffer. They need to go beyond that.
Very right.
And that's why the issue of hospitality came in. That what are the things that now makes life easier for them? So when we take our accommodation, we ensure the accommodation are the ones that are there. We used to have accommodation where you have a big hall. So many people will be there. About 4 or 5 rooms sharing one toilet or bath around the line.
Yeah.
But we took a decision, no. Henceforth for our own, maximum of 4 in a room. And ensuring that all the facility you need stays in your room. So it means our search for hotels, accommodations were based on that. And some other things that we now put there or put into it. In the same way, when you do hospitality, one core aspect of hospitality is service. And that's why we decided that every of our pilgrims are going to be served specially. And what does that mean? It means that we go there with officials who are going to manage it. So we have a ratio, maybe ratio 1 to 25. For every 25, there must be an official, which is very rare indeed. So at times, you go with official 10, 15, just to serve the people. So which is a very, even up to today, it's a very rare thing that you have an agency doing that. So if you're a Hajj Mabrur going with number 200, 250, you can see officials about 15, 16 with them. So the service will be there and other things that are there, so that the hospitality aspect will actually be taken care of. Why not losing touch of the spirituality, which is also part of it?
Mashallah, tabarakallah. That's really, really intriguing. So I gather that every Hajj group particularly is on taking every pilgrim as a priority, as well as taking every pilgrim through every process to ensure that they have a very comfortable and spiritually uplifting experience.
Yeah.
So if you were to pitch Hajj Mabrur Ventures Limited to an investor, what would be the unique selling point?
Our unique selling is very clear. The point is that for every pilgrim, you are taking care of spiritually, and they are taken care of in terms of the hospitality. So at every point in time, you always see us in the front. We don't stay at the back. For any group, you must see somebody there who leads you. So we start leading you from while you are in Nigeria to your travel, to the point, at the point in the Mecca where you are doing the pilgrimage, and at every single point. So that makes us unique. So it makes that our core value is that you have to have your spirituality, get it right. So by the time you are coming back, I always assure people, in fact, what usually happens is any of our pilgrims that goes becomes and instantly becomes a scholar. So it means that they have friends who have come other agency, they will be the one now guiding them, all right, because they have actually been taken through the purpose. So for us, what we do is that we are always there with our pilgrims, ensuring they have their spirituality uplifted and achieved, and at the same time, their hospitality is well taken care of.
So
I think one other major point one could raise has to do with the various segments of the society that Hajj Mabrur also cater for.
okay.
So the elderly, they have their special care. Those who are not that physically, fit, we have service, for that. Even the children, we have service for that. And another major thing, when you are talking about taking it to investors, our primary aim was never profit maximization. So the management of the organization was ready to spend everything to ensure what the MD just mentioned, the spirituality and the hospitality. So we're ready to spend all that we have to ensure that at the end of the day, those who go with us come back to be our marketers. So most often than not, those who, so to say, patronize Hajj Mabrur are never, we make least efforts in marketing, here and there. It's those who went with us, because of the experience, they come back and they are major, marketers. And we do not also lose track of all our pilgrims, no matter their categories. We continue to maintain, contacts, with them. I think these are good selling points for Hajj Mabrur.
You wanted to
Yes, just like you showed, at least one of the things that's so unique about Hajj Mabrur is about, we mentioned the issue of the elderlies. That's why today a lot of people feel comfortable to send their elderly ones, their parents, on journey with us, even in their own absence. They are sure that they will come there. They will, despite their weaknesses, their frailty, they get to do the right thing in the right manner. And our own advertisement or marketing is word of mouth. We hardly do anything. If you see us do any, you hardly see us on doing jingle and because we have more than if we have options, we have choices, we have enough to, because people have actually marketed us because of what they had experienced.
Mashallah, tabarakallah. Away from pilgrims, like let's come back to the structure itself. Remember that Hajj Mabrur Ventures Limited is a brand already. So what is the management and staff relationship like? Because as you had said, there are systems, there are departments, units to cater for everything. So it means that you have staff either by training or by employment. So what's the relationship with management and staff like?
Well, it's simple. If we will put so much effort in taking care of your pilgrims, automatically you expect much more than that in taking care of those of us who are going to do the job. Because we don't believe in people doing things. If you want to lead people, you must also show example of this that needed. So for Hajj Mabrur, it's a family. Anybody that works here with us, we work as a family, we relate with family, and we get ourselves trained on the annual basis. With every staff member goes through one training or the other, training on how we relate with customers, training on how to ensure the spirituality that we want, training on how to ensure the hospitality that we have. And it's a group thing, because right from inception, all those who the committee that started till we now have an expansion of what we have here. Today we have a staff members of close to about 20. So I'm sure it's not very common. Despite that, it's because we want to ensure that every aspect is taken care of. So it's a family relationship. So when you're an Hajj Mabrur, you are entering to the family. So the hierarchy, the MD, everybody, we are on the same thing. But on paper, you have to go out and say somebody is the MC. Right. Somebody is this. Right. But in our operations, we are all there. You will see us in the field. When you travel, of course, we have different packages that we do. We do the premium packages. We have the standard one, like the economy. You will not see the MD in the staying in 5-star standing hotel. It's with everybody. In fact, at times, some people do not even know the MD. Not because he will have interacted, he just saying that's the MD. Because he, at a point in time, for everything that he has done at every point, he's interacting with one member of staff and the other. So not necessarily with the MD. And he's comfortable. So he does not even need to find out about who the MD is, because he's comfortable. It's only at times when we have to say, okay, we didn't know you are the MD, because we are always there. So that is the way we interact here, because it's a family, because we have a mission together to satisfy people and work together as a team.
So beautiful.
You will notice too that in terms of turnover, staff turnover, rate at which people leave an organization for various reasons, you see that our turnover is practically 0%.
Mashallah.
Those who have employed over the years had remained. And there is this elder statement that the board will not stay long on a fruitless tree. So if they are not being well taken care of course, there are always opportunities there for them to want to, so to say, japa now. You understand?
Definitely.
But they've always been part and parcel, of the, and I think that's a very good.
And they grow from,
yes,
because we people, a lot of people there start from scratch. They were coming without even having experience about Hajj. So we got the training, and today they are the one in charge.
And you also recall too that the MD was saying the founding fathers then, it was a voluntary structure, that we are having, not that people are there working and collecting a salary and things, like that. So even up till now, we see some voluntary, workers, to ensure that things go well. But for those who are now in paid employment, I'm sure they are doing very well.
Mashallah.
Mashallah.
So basically, Hajj Mabrur Ventures Limited is safe to say like a home away from home. because it's a family. The structure is a family-based structure in itself. So, Professor, as like a pioneer member, what's one, not maybe one, not it's not necessarily one, but what's that lesson that if you were a newbie travel agency, for example, not necessarily Hajj and Umrah, is reaching out to you, or even a thriving or struggling agencies reaching out to you, that okay, what's that lesson that you can pass on from the lessons that the board and the system, the structure itself has been able to gather over the years? That what's that one lesson that you like you give out as like a landmark for them to move on?
I will mention service. Service. We are not looking at what may come at the end of the day. So what do they really want? And how do you ensure what they want, is provided for them? And that's why they also mentioned those categories. You have premium, you have standard, you have economy. So one way you can also have people patronizing you is to give them good, service. And sometimes, even in marketing, we are made to know that even your customer may not even know what is good for him or her.
Right.
So, as an operator of whatever service you are rendering, what do you think is best for your customer? So, how do you make them know that this is best for them? And in that light, you see them doing well. I could recall a time when, one of the rights of Hajj has to do with slaughtering at one point in the Hajj operation, slaughtering of, ram. You see, some people are not willing to even subscribe, buy, or pay for the ram. And it's a major element of Hajj operation. So, which means sometimes they do not even know. So the onus is now on you to make them know. And where they are even unable to do it, because you don't want them to suffer, there are some specific aspect of the Hajj operation. Once the person loses it, the entire Hajj operation is lost to that particular person. So one thing you have to do is to ensure that all those specific elements, rights, even if the customer is not willing to do it, what do you do at your own hand? To make sure that is done. I know that's part of, and that is service. So I would say service.
So it's safe to say that Hajj Mabrur Ventures Limited's love language is service.
Yeah.
Mashallah.
Yeah.
May Allah continue to make it easy.
Mm.
So there is no way you would have existed for 25 years without like evolving with the global systems. Like, I mean, technology advancements, the requirements of public relations, particularly with your intending clients and all of that. So how have you been able to stay grounded? And I mean spiritually now, in a very fast-paced technology or public relations structure. So how have you been able to stay grounded on spirituality and hospitality and not lose, like, while trying to like get, you have said it prior that you're not profit driven, it's service and service, but then a brand will not exist for 25 years on just, okay, don't worry, so bismillah or alhamdulillah. So like, how have you been able to merge all of these things together and still be that number one agency that will come to mind? I want to go for Hajj. Hey, Hajj Mabrur now. So
Okay, like we said, when like the Prof said, the intention is to serve. That was what brought us into it. How do we serve the Muslim Ummah and be able to allow them to achieve the goal of the fifth pillar of Islam and what's so that intention of service was what we started with. So it was not about money, it was more about that. And that's why I said at the initial stage, that was the focus. All other ones are downplayed in terms of accommodation, go there and do your service. So we could put some charges that would just be sufficient enough to take care of what we need to do for them as their service and take care of those who are going to go and assist them. at that point in time so that we'll be able to do that. It wasn't much about coming there. But over time, because we have rendered service, people have seen what we do, and then we also have to go to the level of giving them the hospitality that we want, that will still satisfy their need. So as time goes on, you have to bring in those things, and whatever you come up with as your charges was much easier for people to pay, because they know for every single kobo you are giving, you are getting
Service.
the service that is equivalent for it. So you can see it. So it's not about how much Hajj Mabrur is charging you. So normally, naturally, our charges will have to reflect what we want to give, but you are sure that once you are doing it, you don't have hidden cost in anything. Just the normal thing is do your service, cost that will take care of our administrative thing, and the little that will come back for the work of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is being championed by the organization that owns Hajj Mabrur. And that is it. So we give it because today we are in Hajj Mabrur IT driven. So a lot of things are run now. Before the end of the year, you have some other things. We are rolling out our special app. We have done some, which are majorly meant as app where you don't even need to see us to do your subscription. People do a lot of things today. They want to go for Hajj, they want to be paying bit by bit. Now we are creating a platform where you can do it on your own. Just do it, go in there. So before the next few months, we have a time we are finishing Hajj, the app will be up and doing. So everybody, wherever you are, you can go in there, you can get it. People travel there, you want to get your accommodation, you don't need people to start telling you where your room is going to be. You already can just go on there, click on the button, and you know your room number. And so many things are going there. For like the elderlies, we have challenges. People will travel, they miss their road. We have a lot of tracking technology that we are bringing into. We have started deploying for the last 1-2 years, putting it to pilot studies, and we are building on it. So it's easier for anybody. You can sit down, even in Nigeria, somebody will be at the office in Nigeria and track the elderly wherever they are. So in case they miss their way, there's always a way to do it. So we are bringing a lot of technology to the system, and now so whatever we give as cost, people are much very willing. You hardly see anybody arguing, and that's why today, no matter what, even before Hajj itself, we'll have subscription over 200, 300 people. So it doesn't cost us, it's not pain, because people know they are going to get the service and they are much willing to pay whatever is there. And that one is just going to take care of everybody based on your own strata. And that's why if you are premium, you want that, you have opportunity for that. If you want the economy aspect of it, you have something like that. And that will not reduce the quality you are going to get. Yeah.
Mashallah, mashallah. Really, I will not say I'm impressed, because I'll not use the word impressed, because it feels like it's lower than the word I'm supposed to use. Like, it's really intriguing to know that there's so much that we've done over time. Like, if anybody's looking from the outside, we just be like, oh, okay, yeah, it's just a Hajj and Umrah agency, not knowing that a lot of things, and particularly to this extent, is. So I'm really grateful for Hajj Mabrur Ventures Limited. However, Professor, what other services does Hajj Mabrur Ventures Limited offer besides Hajj and Umrah service, or is that the only service you render?
Not really, not really. You know, when you start as a venture too, you also look at the market, look at the needs of the market. So beyond the Hajj and Umrah, people also travel, you know, both locally and internationally. I think that's why the founders market can also be of the Hajj Mabrur venture explore it fit. As a result of that particular a subset or a subsidiary had been established, which is called the HMVL Travel and Tours. So, and that's for both local and the international, trips, outside Hajj operations. That's what that subsidiary is taking care of. So you might not need to bother yourself looking for which flight will take you even to Ado Ekiti from Lagos Air. Just talk to HMVL Travel and Tours. They will do the booking for you, and you can be sure there will be no issues. So even if you can do that locally, then you can talk of international operations too. I'm also aware that they're also into some of these Islamic, items, quality items in terms of perfumes, wares, prayer items, and the rest of them. So I believe that there's also a subset of the organization, providing that added, service too. And I know there will be more, in the future.
Mashallah, may Allah make it easier than it.
So maybe I can add,
Yeah.
because the philosophy that we use that for is part of the idea of service for our clients. So we have clients who go from Hajj, go for Umrah. What are the other things that are essential that they also need based on our interaction that actually like an add on to what we do? And that was what brought it about there. The travel, somebody wants to travel from this end to the other end. Okay, normally we travel. If they come for Hajj, they want to go elsewhere, they can still go. So some of them decide I want to have a stopover somewhere. So we need to do that. And that's what brought those ones. Some of them want to do, okay, I'm going for Hajj. I can go to after Hajj. Maybe I want to spend 5 days in Dubai. I want to do other things. Okay, you can even do outside Hajj, which also gives some that, okay, you can combine that one with your Hajj or Umrah service, which are other tours. And that's what we'll do. Then we know that some of our clients will have traveled. There are some things they get from Makkah. They want to get Ajwa, they want to get Zemzem, they want rosaries, all this prophetic medicine, and so many other things. So, but because maybe I traveled once, he had not had opportunity to travel maybe 2-3 years afterwards, and he needs those things. Rather than having struggling to do that, that's why we established what we call the souk. It's an online marketplace where you can get all those things that you need. So who will help you get them? We travel almost all the time. You have them in stock where, and you can get them. So if you want your Zemzem, without bothering to look for somebody who is traveling for Hajj, and you have traveled before, you can get it. There are some prophetic medicine you have bought there and you still want more, you can get it from the souk. And so that was brought into it. So now we are moving on to another one. And that is, people move, they carry their loads, they want to bring in there, they need to cargo some of them. So because they are part of our pilgrimage, in order to make things easier, and because of the trust we have built, that they are sure that if it is Hajj Mabrur, we are sure nobody will cheat us and we get what we actually paid for. So we are gradually moving into that. So hopefully before the end of the year, we should be launching the cargo aspect of those things, which is going to be the Hajj Mabrur cargo services that we are going to do. So that one is already in the making. We are only it's just a hint now. But when it comes that we fully launch, which is part and parcel of what we do. So those are part of activities that we do. So, and we have done that so that there won't be any mix-up. That's why we had a subsidiary specifically for that. So Hajj Mabrur Ventures Limited will take care of specifically for the Hajj and Umrah, where the subsidiary take care of all other add-ons that we have mentioned.
I think we shouldn't also forget recreation, both locally and internationally too. So I'm aware the organization is also into that. So I think recently, not less than 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, from Lagos here to Abeokuta, not many people know what happens in Olumo. Right. We used to have Olumo Rock and the rest of it. So the organization arranged for people. Not many people have the opportunity of even traveling by train. So they arranged, for such kind of service. I'm aware they won't just stop there. There are other recreational facilities across Nigeria and beyond that people can go and enjoying themselves in a manner that will not counter their faith.
No.
And I think that's the most important aspect of it too.
Absolutely. And honestly, yeah, Hajj Mabrur Ventures is simply hospitable and truly spiritual. On that note, yeah, what are the packages that you have towards this Ramadan 2026 for us, really?
Okay, the Ramadan package, I think, still on. At least for now, we are already, hopefully, inshallah, a few days now will be Ramadan. We pray Allah spare our lives till then. So we have a Ramadan package that are there. We have for those who want to do the standard package, those who want to do the premium package, and then we have the executive package. So those ones are there. Anybody can always get in touch with us so that we'll be able to do that. And those who already have the structure, there are some people, because now Saudi has opened up.
Okay.
If you have maybe a UK visa, US visa that is valid, you will go in there and just get visa on arrival. We can arrange all other things for you. You can get your visa, no problem. Your accommodation, your flight, can do all those things for us. And those are the things that we are doing. So the Umrah package is still quite on for now. We may close any moment for now because of we want to close the for the visa and the rest. We're still very much open. And then the Hajj service coming up, which is now because the Hajj is already closed.
Okay.
For those, because
That's
of
2026, right?
For 2026, everybody operation is already going on that. Processing visa is already going on. But people have started subscribing for 2027.
Mashallah.
So we already have a database open because people are already subscribing for 27. So because in Hajj Mabrur, it's about the earlier you come, the better, because this is already getting there. So if you don't come early, you will find out that you have to wait for the next time, especially for Hajj. So people are already subscribing, and inshallah, we hope that like our policy, Hajj Mabrur, is that's what we call, it's always continuous improvement. So for those who went with us for Hajj 2025, they will have a lot of stories they have given their colleagues, their friends.
Right.
Those who are going to go in 2026, by the time they share notes, 2025 will know that you have had that there's something different. So every year there must be something different. So if you have traveled with us 5 years ago and you want to come again, just assume that you are just going to be a fresher.
Yeah.
Because you are coming to with a different experience. So every year, that is what we get.
Professor, any last words?
Well, alhamdulillah, just to give thanks to Almighty Allah. 25 years is not a small number of years in the life of individuals and any organizations. I know many that we started about the same time, but due to one challenge or the other, they are no longer there. But to have survived this far is not our making. It's according to the wish of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And our aim is to provide service in accordance with Quran and Sunnah. And that will continue, inshallah. Now.
As we have gathered, because we gathered, the audience and myself, we gathered together, we realized that Hajj Mabrur Ventures Limited is not just an agency, it's a structure that's been built on quality service, it's particular about excellence, and is a legacy in itself. So I'm sure that anyone willing to or looking out to book or go for Hajj or Umrah, Hajj 2027 specifically, Umrah in August or October, Hajj Mabrur is the actual place. You want a stress-free, a beautiful, memorable experience, Hajj Mabrur is the place to be. Please do not forget to follow, like, and engage all of Hajj Mabrur's activities on social media across all platforms. It was a beautiful session with you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.